What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Panda here, and we have a little bit of an interesting video for you today. We are in the middle of an AMR event, and you'll see here that we are pushing pretty hard in this AMR event, and there's two reasons why. The first reason is I'm hoping that I can take first place. You'll see that I'm a little over halfway in comparison to the first place person, so that may end up being a little bit of a hope, but we'll have to see. I do have a decent chunk of diamonds and some auto runs that I can do in hopes of maybe pushing to first place. But the real reason, like the main reason that we're doing this, is because artifacts is probably the biggest place that my account is lacking. I do have a couple of the good ones, including 3 Scarlet Hunts, and some Ancestral Teachings, and I have 3 Tears of Starlight, which is very good, but I don't have any COVs, any Flawless Blades, any Nether Messengers, and I also have a ton of things that could be upgraded. And particularly, I'd really like to get one more Nightmare Samsara in order to max this out for my Pyros. There's a lot of things I could do with farming AMR, and so we have farmed a decent chunk of AMR, giving us a total of 2 10 pulls, and this is actually after already doing quite a few pulls before this video. So I wanted to quickly hop in here and kind of give you an idea of what I'm looking for. I think the main things that I'm looking for is I'd really like to get at least 1 Nether Messenger. It'd be really good for my Setrum in Guild Boss. I'd be really excited to pick up one of these. Another Olog's Wall would actually be really good for me as well, because we do have one for our Olog, but I don't have another one for a secondary tank such as Olivian or the new Regulus that I pulled on my account. Another one, of course, I would take another Tier of Starlight. I would definitely not be mad about that. And another Sharpshooter's Crest could be good as well. I already have 2 of them, so I'm not super in need, especially since I've already done a pretty good job so far in Gear Raid 3. But getting another one could be valuable for pushing 20 and 21, so definitely would not be mad about that. And then a Flawless Blade is probably one of the other really good ones that I would like, because this is apparently one of the best fighter artifacts, so definitely no complaints there. And then I also just realized I thought that COV was in the Forge, but apparently it's not. Where is it? Oh, there we go. So it's only in the mythic artifacts. That's what it is. So yeah, so I would also, of course, really like a COV being one of the best artifacts as well. And then I think another one too, Void Gazer. I would not be mad about Void Gazer as well. And then a Zealous's Manuscript. Although it's not the best artifact, I think it would be actually very useful for me due to the fact that I have a Zealous. And I don't have a lot of magic damage dealers, and with this weekend event coming up for 10 times on Vierna, if I happen to pick up a Vierna and I combine Vierna's damage along with Zealous's Manuscript, we could actually make some very, very good progression in Gear Raid 1. So hopefully we can get lucky and we can get at least one of the things on my wish list. Let's get started. We're going to do 3 of these legendary pulls, see what we get, and go from there. Insignia of Perfection, don't really care about that. Watchguard's Fortune, don't really care about that. And a War Song, also don't really care about that. And now we've got 2 10 pulls, so let's see what we can get. Everyone wish me luck. 10 pull number 1. Okay, that's a little unfortunate. I did get 2 things, though, that I'm actually really excited about. First thing is we got our last copy of Nightmare Samsara. This is very powerful. I'm very excited. This is going to allow us to get to that last promotion for our Pyros, which is really, really good. Another thing that I'm actually really excited about is this Death Knell. So Death Knell, I think, is actually going to be a very good relic for Guild Wars. And my reasoning here is because it has this auto revive mechanic. If your character dies, you're able to revive instantly. Now, of course, Olag's Wall is probably going to be better simply because of the fact that it gives you that extra block, but I think the Death Knell could prove to be useful, especially when going up against things such as the mages and or the bombers, who have a good chance of being able to kill your front line and then kind of roll over you after that. Jungle Relic, It's not that good. It's pretty bad, to be honest. Orb of Euphoria is just better. Healing Effect is okay, but it's nothing crazy. Gift of Hope, kind of the same thing. I think Gift of Hope is potentially viable for example, like a Carnelian, or if you're healing specifically chaotic units, because they're typically going to be below this 30% pretty regularly. However, at the same time, you don't want them to be higher HP, so I feel like really just not the greatest. And then the rest of these are Ancestral Teaching's great, but I already have a ton of them, so not super exciting. But we've got one more 10 pull. Here we go. Come on, Mythic. Give me something good. Something good. Okay, okay. I'm not mad about this. I'm not mad about this. We got 3 Mythics, one of which I think is actually a really good Mythic, and that's Skull of Desecration. This is my 4th Skull of Desecration, which I think is actually pretty exciting, because it actually is a pretty decent artifact, especially in places such as Gear Grade 1. Now, because I already have Tear of Starlight, it's not as great, but it could be a potentially good artifact as a sort of secondary artifact. So I'm definitely not complaining about that at all. Soul Reaper Insignia, I feel like it's not that great, but it could be potentially beneficial. As like, again, as like a secondary artifact for me personally, because I don't have a lot of very good ranged artifacts. I do have a fully capped Idril's Gaze, and I have a secondary copy of Idril's Gaze, so more likely than not, Soul Reaper Insignia probably isn't going to be used, because I believe Ancestral Teachings is kind of just better, but I could potentially see a way where this is useful, and of course, getting a Mythic is never a bad thing. And then we have Holy Radiance. This one's, right now, I don't see a lot of value here. I do really like this passive, though, because I think it could be very beneficial in some places, mainly potentially in the Immortal Codex. I don't know a lot about the Immortal Codex, but from what I understand, there are stages specifically for like each class type. So having a defender with the ability to deal some damage could be potentially good, especially on someone such as like a Gon, for example, who has already a lot of AoE damage. Adding in some more AoE damage could be really, really good, and you get that nice 10% heal based on the damage dealt. So definitely could have some uses, definitely not super exciting. And then, of course, these other ones are not that great. So definitely not the best, but I am going to go ahead and come in here, and we're going to sell some stuff. I am selling these Ancestral Teachings because I don't really need that many. I'm keeping 5, so I have the ability to make 1 more if I need it. And then I'm keeping 1 of every legendary just in case, except for a couple, right? So, for example, Eye of the White Tower, I think actually could have some potential use. Again, because I have Tear of Starlight, I don't know if it has the use because Tear of Starlight's just better. But I am keeping a few of them on hand in case I decide I want to upgrade them. We can come up here to the North Judgment. We can get rid of that. We can get rid of these Watchguard's Ambitions. We can get rid of the Unity, and we can get rid of the Fortune. We can get rid of Insignias, and then we'll keep the Spirit Horns because Spirit Horns are great. And you'll see here we've got those 4 Skull of Desecrations. But let's sell this, and then we'll quickly end the video with the promotion of the Nightmare Samsara, because this is a very big moment for my account for sure. I'm very excited about it. We'll take it all the way up to 25. This may be the difference between getting my 2-to-1 Pyros to Zillitu ultimates, because that is a pretty decent chunk of rage, right? An additional 0.5% rage is actually pretty good, and of course we get a little more HP and attack as well, which is never a bad thing. We do have some extra stuff that we could invest. We've got about 500, but I think I'm going to hold on to that for just a little bit because, like I said, I am going to be continuing to push AMR because we're trying to see if we can get this first place. But guys, that's it for me today. Leave me a comment down below with how many points you have pushed in the current Mystery of Artifacts Oracles trial, or maybe you've skipped it all together. I don't know. Maybe that's something you'd like to do. But guys, if you liked the video, please go ahead and hit that like button. If you want to see more content from me in the future, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.